Welcome to the Irn-Cru podcast, an NFL podcast made in Scotland by NFL lovers. This is the News Crew, and I'm your host, Keith McGinty. I'd like to start with an apology. I'm sorry there was no crew for you last week. Unfortunately, we just couldn't get together at an appropriate time. However, we are going to make it up to you in this episode, for we have a plethora of topics to discuss this week, and we are launching our new Irn-Cru WhatsApp community. If you'd like to be part of the crew, then you can get involved through WhatsApp. We'll release podcast information directly to you there, and it'll be a place for you to discuss football with like-minded fanatics. To keep up to date with all the latest crew news, then all you have to do is like, subscribe, and follow the crew on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. You'll get all our information there. If you'd like to be part of the crew, check our Twitter, Instagram, all those details. We'll have links to how to join. It's very easy to do. You just have to take a wee scan of the picture, and your WhatsApp will be able to do the rest to get you added in. Very, very interesting. As I said, we've got a packed show tonight, but as always, I'm joined by some of the finest crew members to talk us through. First up, I've got a returning Viking Raider himself. It's Craig. Craig, how are we tonight?
Evening, Keith. I'm doing good, mate. It's good to be back on the pod. It's been a wee while. I'm kind of going through my NFL post-season kind of hibernation, but I'm getting back into, the draft's got me back into things, getting excited again. There's more and more stuff to talk about NFL related, and yeah, it's going to be a long summer waiting for the kickoff, but yeah, loads to talk about. So yeah, good to be back, mate.
We have dearly missed you, my friend. It's great to hear you back on the podcast. I'm looking forward to discussing some of the fantastic bits of news that we've got to ponder over this week. And we're also joined by our resident cowboy himself. Dan, how are you, buddy?
Not too bad, not too bad. Just fresh off a visit to Sweeney Todd just for this pod. Just seen the state of me before I went to the barbers. I had to get presentable for the pod. I thought I was bad. I've missed 2 weeks due to unavailability. I think I might be a more regular at the moment. I'm looking forward to getting stuck into the news this week and seeing what's coming up. It's been exciting. Exciting times ahead.
There, yeah. It's good to see that the council's cutting the grass again there, Dan. Kev, we are also joined by our Fly Eagles Fly, our fan there. It's Kev Coggle. Kev, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. I should have went to the barbers the same as Dan, but so hopefully tomorrow. I was playing in football in the Suns tonight and absolutely shattered. So if I nod off at any point during the pod, it's no because I'm bored. I'm just exhausted.
As you can see, my face is, the camera's not very good tonight. The lighting in here's terrible. But I was out in the sun for a full 5 minutes, and absolutely, I feel my face is starting to glow as we're sitting here tonight. Aye, it's a dangerous time of the year. I think for your red-headed friends out there, ladies and gentlemen, that make sure they've got a wee top up of sun cream anytime you see them. Tonight we are going to start, as always, with our kick-off question. And Craig, it was yourself that came up with this one tonight. We're going to go with JJ Watt. I don't know if you saw this. JJ Watt now has a stake in Burnley FC. Which NFL player would you want investing in an SPFL club, and why? So JJ Watt released a video. Him and his wife were sitting talking about how he's retired from retiring. I think it was that he said. His wife, I'm pretty sure, is one of a soccer player over in the States.
Yeah,
so
yep. I think she's a US national team player.
Yeah. Also, obviously been bedding a year. Delighted with everything that Vincent Kompany's been doing this season with Burnley, who have just been promoted to the Premiership. He's getting a good time then, isn't he? Dan, who would you go for yourself then if you could get any NFL player to invest in your team? Who would it be and why?
I'm obviously going to have to go for an ex-Cowboys player, because why else would I go for anybody else? But my answer, which will come to my reason shortly, is Roger Staubach. And I'll leave it there until we go to a further bit on.
Well, yeah, Dan's got a top 10 that he'd count down that he's introducing to the podcast for us tonight. Hopefully you'll be able to join along at home and we could listen to. So we'll come back to that a wee bit later on. Kev, what about yourself? Who would you get to invest in your team and why?
I'll be honest, I've got absolutely no idea. Let me see. I mean, I was going to say maybe Tom Brady because he's so successful and should have lots of money, but I don't think he's done too well in his previous investments as far as I hear. So for that reason, I think get clear of him. Honestly, I honestly don't know. I mean, how do you figure out from watching on a football pitch, you know, who would be good at that? I don't know, guys. I'll leave it up to you guys.
Craig, yourself, who you thinking for your team then?
Well, do you know, Kev mentioned Brady, and although he's an obvious choice, for me, he's the only choice, because as far as somebody that's got like winning mentality goes, like, why would you not have somebody like Tom Brady? Like, even when he's gone through rough patches in his career, the number of times he's able to bounce back and lift a team, like that's the kind of guy that you want investing in your football team. And you know, we'll touch on it later on. We're talking about Brady and getting involved in his kind of post QB career, investing in other teams and what he's potentially going to be doing, putting some money into the Raiders. But yeah, I'd go for Brady if I was wanting somebody that's actually going to make my football team more successful. I would go with Brady. But we were kind of talking about it in the chat earlier on and saying, you know, who would you pick and what would you know, what were your reasons why? If I was going for my local team and I wanted somebody like to come in and put some money into the Hamilton Academical Football Club, I'd go for pure banter. Go for Antonio Brown, just to see what kind of antics he would come up with. I think it'd be absolutely hysterical. Just announces himself that he's going there. He just like turns up on Twitter with an Accies top on. He's not consulted them. He's just told them, I'm going to buy Hamilton Accies.
They've just been relegated, so we used to think, what could we actually do to make it worse for Hamilton Accies? Put Antonio Brown in charge.
Trust me, Accies need all the help they can get at the moment.
But they don't have a help or a hindrance.
You know what? I'm going to
come back in. Actually.
I'm going to come back in. I would say, you know, for the same reasons that Smudger said, I would go with Belichick. If it's got to be a player, but yeah, for the same reasons that Smudger said, the success that he's had at New England over a really long period of time, that's a guy that I think I would want involved in my team.
I think Antonio Brown going to the Accies would be quite good. I think part of the deal is have to get Equis and ML3 Bar involved in that as well. I'm going to go for the Kelsey brothers. Kelsey brothers going to just up the road for the Accies. Kev, Dan and I are Celtic fans. Craig, of course, you're a Rangers fan in the chat. But local teams to us, I'd say I'm going to go for Motherwell. And that would have to be the Kelsey brothers because, you know, they love their mum. They look after their wee mammy.
Would you go for let's say the Kelsey brothers then? Would you go for, say, got to be a Steeler because they're the Steel Men? See what I did there?
That's good. I like that. There we go. Fantastic. It's a curious one to see them investing in that. I wonder what the tax benefits are with all these Americans coming over and investing in the English football clubs just now, and you've even see it up in Aberdeen and through in Hibs as well that the football is getting invested in. But listen, a wee bit of cross-pollination of the sports would be good because the service that they provide to the fans and the viewing pleasure and the viewing experience that you get over there seems to be second to none and much, much better than the facilities that we've got in the Scottish football stadiums just now. Not even a Kelly Pie can cut it.
No.
It needs to up its game big time. Absolutely.
We've got to living at Donald kebab pie now at Livy.
The vegan one at Celtic Park smelled amazing the other day. But I've not tried that yet.
We need to bring in like the director of Bovril, directors of snacks, just directors of like all the stuff that you actually want when you go and see the football. The football's kind of second to it. It's a bit like when you go and watch the NFL. It's the tailgating, it's the build up. That's the stuff that you thrive on. The football's a bonus.
Fantastic. We'll get. Let's get stuck into the news because we've plenty to talk about this week. Let's start with the latest from the owners' meeting, I think it was, where they discussed the kickoff changes, which now means that, Dan, I'm going to come to you. You're our rules man, following a long line of the corners that do that. Tell us a wee bit about the latest kickoff changes and how it's going to affect the game.
Yeah, so obviously there's a big, massive focus on safety in the NFL at the moment, and they believe that kickoffs are the next place they want to tackle because of the high-speed collisions. So obviously your kicking team rushing towards the receiving team, and they're just running both at a reasonable pace, so they're trying to minimise these collisions. So the new thing they've brought in, and I think it's a one-season trial to start with, is that any kickoff or safety, post-safety kick, if you fair catch within the 25-yard line, the ball will automatically be spotted on the 25. So you could fair catch on the 1, the ball will automatically be moved to the 25. Basically the same as a touchback.
Yeah.
It's effectively, they're basically making that a live touchback rather than waiting for it to get into the end zone. So that's the rule. How people respond to it and how it's received is still to be seen.
So a fair catch, I'm one of them that I'm relatively new. Past couple of years I've got into, but there'll be people who are hopefully joining us that don't really quite get all the lingo.
Yeah.
Our job here is to kind of break it down a wee bit for them. So the fair catch, that's when the player, is it they extend their hands?
So they can make any signal at all. So basically, when the ball is in there, they can make any sort of signal as long as it's a clear enough signal that they're going to catch the ball and they're not going to advance it. So basically, they're telling the opposition players that run towards them, I'm catching this ball and I'm not going to advance it. So that then affords them protection. So players can't get, I can't remember the exact yardage, but players can't get within so many yards of them while they catch the ball. Any contact that's made, so if the guy puts a fair catch signal up, any contact that's made then results in what's called a kick catch interference penalty, which is then automatically a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the catch. So it basically protects them because they're saying, I'm not going to advance it, I'm not going to run with the ball, so you can't tackle me effectively is what it's saying, because they're a defenseless player, because they're just going to catch the ball and stand there. So that's kind of definition of a fair catch. You can fair catch on a punt as well. Same rules apply with that, where you can't advance it, you can't be tackled, but a punt has not been brought into the new ruling yet with the moving to 25-yard line. So a punt, the fair catch, the ball will start from where the ball is caught.
I'm assuming if you got fouled on the 1 yard line and it's a 15-yard penalty for the spot of the foul, I think it'd be 15 yards now with this new rule, and it's 15 yards from the 25-yard line.
I'm assuming it will be,
to take the guy.
It's a personal foul, so it's basically an unnecessary roughness penalty is what it would come under, but it's got its own definition of kick catch interference. But there's a lot of other ones you see is you don't actually have to make contact with the receiver, the receiving player. They've just got to interfere with them to stop them from catching the ball. If they got too close to him, it stopped him getting a clean catch of the ball, which means maybe he hit somebody fumbles it, because then it would obviously make it a live ball. But because if they've interfered with him and stopped him making a clean catch, then that's also a penalty as well.
What's your thoughts on it, Kev?
I mean, it's hard to say. Obviously, safety's got to come first, but I do feel as though you'll see, far less kick returns now, and that's always really exciting. I mean, I was over in Boston last year when there was that amazing return in the New England game, and it's just like it's blockbuster. And I think with this new rule, it'll kind of it'll show you fewer of that. But at the same time, as I said, safety's got to come first, and if that's why they're doing it, then I suppose I understand why.
That was the moment I was thinking of last season as well, was the big return against the Jets for the Pats to win the game, which had been a honking game. It
wasn't a classic, let's be honest.
The other thing I was thinking of was looking back at old episodes of like Jackass, where they would just get Johnny Knoxville to get absolutely wiped out by somebody running up in full pelt, and that's absolutely hilarious, and love watching stuff like that. It's brilliant. That can do serious damage to guys, and you can understand why these multi-millionaire investments by the clubs are not wanting to put them in so much danger. for all it looked great as a spectacle, you're not wanting anybody to be seriously harmed. That's going to keep them out for weeks at a time, or that's going to do any serious damage, like Damar Hamlin had as well. You're hoping to kind of limit anything like that. So can you understand it's maybe taking a wee bit of the edge away, but I can understand why they're going for it.
It would be interesting to see the stats on injuries on kickoffs to see what the logic behind their decision is, because watching games, the potential is you just don't pay attention, but I don't remember watching many games where players get injured on kickoffs or kicks. So there obviously must be some reason behind it, and they've got some logic behind it, but it'd just be interesting to see their logic behind the decision.
They did mention that there was like kind of some statistic around it that they'd kind of looked at, where these kind of injuries are occurring most, and they identified and have predicted that by enforcing this new ruling, this 25-yard fair catch, that they'd said, we think there's going to be a percentage reduction. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was something like it was going to go down from like 37 to 31 or something like that. Yeah. But you look at the reactions around the league. I was reading an article and it was Andy Reid getting asked about it, and he was basically slightly kind of negative about it, but basically saying, you've got to tread a fine line between protecting players and playing flag football, because taking hits is part of the game, it's part of the excitement, it's why we enjoy it. And as you said, Kev, like some of these huge kick returns are one of the best things about it. When you see somebody that's catching the ball on like their own 1 yard line and basically running the full length of the field, that's the kind of stuff that gets you on your feet and you want to watch it over and over again. But on the other side of it, like say concussion, not just concussion, just any kind of big hits, like so the Hamlin situation last year that nobody wants to see happen again. It's that fine balance, and things are constantly evolving. The players are getting better protection, not just with the rule changes, even equipment changes. In recent years, there's been a number of things. The quarterbacks are more protected now. The roughing the passer rules that we've had in for a number of seasons now, and there will be the game will evolve, and rules will get tweaked. And it's good in a way they're saying, look, we're going to try this for a year, see what happens. If we see a difference, then it could become the norm. But yeah, just hope it doesn't take away too much of that excitement, those big kind of punt returns that we love to see.
Yeah, I think in recent years, it used to be common to have kickoff returns for touchdowns, but now I'd say, I don't know percentage-wise, but majority of kicks going to the end zone, it's a touchback. Very, very rarely do you see anything now. Even the ones that are returned tend to be returned from inside the end zone. The players tend to take it out. You don't, and that's, I don't know why that's changed. If it's the protection schemes, if the kicker's getting stronger with their legs, or I'm not sure, but it seems it has kickoff returns for touchdowns has dramatically fallen off a cliff in recent years.
It kind of takes away the skill of the kicker as well, to get the height on it and to get it to land just short of that the end zone there, round about the 1 yard line. That's the dream of every kicker. That's their aim to do, and a lot of skill and effort and practice goes into that, adjusting for the pressure in the air. Sometimes even when you're in New England, adjusting for the pressure of the balls as well. So just making sure that is not taken out of it, because that is a really refined skill that they've got as well. So be interesting to see how it goes through, understand the safety aspect of it and why they want to introduce it. Be quite good. Next up then, let's have a wee look at Brady raids Vegas. Tom Brady, not short of a wee bit of dough himself, is looking to cash in a wee bit in the Las Vegas Raiders, where he is now a minority investor in the club. Does that rule him out making another return after retiring? Again, Kev, do you think this is him just looking to keep his toe in the water? Maybe think about possibly making a wee return, because Vegas was one of the teams that he was linked with, along with the 49ers. What do you think is going to happen there with Tom?
I mean, I don't know if he does retire. Would the NFL have to still approve that? Because I heard that the NFL are obviously having to rubber stamp it. So is that an indicator that he's not retired? Because if he is retired, then I don't know if they still have to approve it or what. The other thing is, don't know if that would be an indication that he's going to the Raiders, because we've got Rodgers, who got shit players in the club, and so again, I don't know about that either. But I'd like to see him play another season somewhere else and see how he was, because the last year I think was a bit disappointing. He done pretty well, but I think he was a wee bit disappointing, and I'd like to see if he goes somewhere else, if he's got left in the tank.
Dan, do you think this would be a good move for the Raiders themselves? Kind of bring them on as a freelance executive type thing, where you can lean on him for any tips and advice. I think he's deferred another year on his Fox contract that he was looking to start for his punditry.
Yeah, I think that is him retired, and I think he's done. He's deferred his. He was meant to start, but we say Fox have told him you can start whenever you want. But I think it's been announced that he will skip this season with Fox and start next season. I was just when you were talking about it, I was just scrolling through it to see if there was any sort of indication of money or anything like that. But what I have found out, he's also invested in the Las Vegas Aces, the women's NBA team owned by Davis as well.
Right.
So there's obviously some link up where he's happy to get involved in different things with Davis as well. He's also joined an ownership group for the expansion of Major League Pickleball, but they also visited and watched the Las Vegas Night Owls. So there's obviously something for him to get involved in different Vegas teams. What that is remains to be seen, and how much of an influence he's going to have. But yeah, I mean, if you're the Raiders, and I mean, Davis isn't getting any younger. If you want someone to come in that's been there, seen it, and done it all, why not have Tom Brady as on your executive board at some point, or some capacity in the future? Maybe that are looking at getting involved now at this level, and then as the future goes on, is he potentially going to be a GM in the future? Do you know what I mean? So I think maybe the Raiders have thought, if we move now and get him involved with us now, nobody else is going to get him. So I think they might maybe future-proofing themselves a wee bit by getting him in the door now, to see what he could do for them in the future.
Yeah.
Craig,
I've got two questions in response to that.
I've just looked it up.
So he's invested in the basketball team as well.
Yeah, the women's NBA team. Yeah,
right. Is he going to hype them up in the same way that McDaniels does, and getting the drum out and stuff? And the other thing is, what's pickleball?
I just had to look it up there. Right, so pickleball, from what I've seen, right, I've just looked it up there as Dan mentioned that, because I hadn't heard of this myself. It looks like miniature tennis with like a wee wooden bat as opposed to a proper racket, and it seems to be loads of old people playing it, and the clips on Google
is it like
Images.
somewhere between table tennis, regular tennis, and like that wee kind of paddle tennis that you play on the beach?
It basically looks like table tennis on a tennis court. That's what it looks like. It looks like you're playing table tennis on a tennis court.
Yeah. I've never heard of pickleball.
I'd heard of it, but didn't know this is what it was. I'd heard the name, but never actually looked it up. But now, so it's table tennis on looks like maybe half a tennis court.
There you go.
For those
Every day's a school day.
Yeah, for those that are following online live, I've posted a link to a wee image there of pickleball. Guys, you can click on the comments there at the side. You'll be able to see that yourselves as well. Interesting. That's the women's basketball team. That's the same team that is it. Who's the tight end? Darren Waller.
Yeah,
is that the one that his wife plays for as well? That they didn't invite McDaniels to the wedding, so he punted him to New York as well. That'll be interesting. I like that was a really good point that you made, that maybe Brady's kind of learning the ropes for the behind the scenes work, like GM, as opposed to actually going into like the coaching side role, more how the actual back workings of the teams is actually involved. Maybe like the pressure of that as opposed to the actual on the field coaching.
Yeah.
And I can kind of understand that a wee bit as well, because you always hear whenever it comes to like the football that we know and love here in Scotland, players like the greats, they really, really struggle to become good coaches unless you're Zinedine Zidane, who gets to coach the very most elite players that there are. Otherwise, they're just showing up their own players at training every week, every day, because they were so good and they've still got that, and they're thinking 5 steps ahead of everybody else. It must be really, really difficult for someone like Tom Brady to go into a coaching role and have to work with lesser players. He might not have the temperament for that, but then
you just
but
picture
then-
Brady, couldn't you? Like he's
What do you
trying
mean,
to
can't
coach
throw
somebody.
the ball like this?
Aye, he's trying to throw. He's trying to teach a quarterback to throw the throw. Oh, just give it here. Look, just do it like that. Just like throws an absolute dime into the end zone.
You can just
This
imagine
dejected quarterback's just sitting there like, I can't do that.
You can just imagine him in the 2
Thanos.
minutes, last 2 minutes of a game, needing to win. Just fucking coach's gear on, helmet on, run onto the field. Yeah, I'll do this.
Well, that takes us to another wee bit of news that we had this week, where teams are able to now dress a third QB without using an active roster spot. This kind of comes after Brock
Brock Purdy.
Purdy was injured in the game last year, but then had to come back on because was this the third or fourth string? Fourth string QB for the.
If you go back to the beginning of the 49ers season, it was like, yeah, you had like what Jimmy G, Trey Lance, and then it was Purdy, and then they went down to Josh. What's his name?
Johnson. No,
Johnson.
Johnson.
Thank you. It was just like that absolute disaster of an NFC title game for the 49ers. So you can kind of see why they've thought, fair enough. They were trying to get Christian McCaffrey, I think, at one point to come on and chuck the ball. Just empty.
I think this is really only going to affect the 49ers and the Dolphins this season, hopefully. That's where they looked at going by last season. Was it I had Tua in my fantasy team, so Tua went down, but then it was Teddy Bridgewater came on and he got concussed. Then it was someone Thompson, I think it was. Skylar Thompson, I think, maybe.
Yeah, he came done well for them.
Yeah, he came on and he was just, I think he got concussed as well. It must be something to do with the heat down there. So another good wee bit of news there. Talking about Tua, did you see the news? How they're going to help him? There seems to be a lot of chat this off-season about Tua and keeping him from getting concussed again and keeping him healthy, because when he's healthy, he's a fantastic player. So there's been things where he's been doing jiu-jitsu and practicing how to roll and judo, I think it was, and practicing how to fall and roll. And the latest that we've heard that he's going to have a cam on his helmet to, I think it must be for post-matches when they're doing their video analysis to see what Tua sees, what Tua's not seeing, and then to see what Tua should be seeing when he's lying on his back in the tough line up.
What Tua sees, he just sees the sky after he's been absolutely flattened again by his non-existent offensive line. It's just a nice blue, Florida sky. That's what Tua sees.
That's what it sounds like. I think that's just McDaniel sounds like a really, really, really clever guy, open to trying so many new things and wonderful things. I'm looking forward to see. I hope they release some of the videos, Kev.
It's brilliant.
I would. Do you know what? In a kind of sick way, I'd like to see some of the videos as well. But for me, if the fact that we're even talking about stuff like this is just like the clearest indication ever that the guy shouldn't be playing football. He shouldn't be on a football park. If this is the type of conversation, some people just aren't built to take hits. It was like Amir Khan in boxing. It was so painful to watch, seeing him getting like Bambi legged about the ring so many times, and you're just like, give it up, mate. You shouldn't be taking punches to the face. And I think Tua's heading in that same direction. The fact that this is even a conversation, although like you say, it'd be quite interesting to see some of the videos.
I think not taking the concussion and the safety aspect of it, I think it'd be it's an interesting concept though, from a coaching point of view. If you've got a quarterback coming out of college who maybe isn't 100% yet, stick a camera on him in training and watch it back. I know coaches will see him in training, but they don't see from his eyes. So, I mean, if your quarterbacks come out of college ready to go, your Richardsons and stuff like that, they don't need it. But maybe somebody that's kind of sitting behind a quarterback for a year or two, put the camera, just see what he looks at, see what his reads are, and see how he's progressing and what you can help him, what you can do to help him progress. I think it's, from a coaching aspect, it's quite a bit of an ingenious idea, I think.
Yeah, Craig, what's your thoughts on it?
I think I'd love to see some of the footage. I think it's fascinating to get like a player's perspective on their movement inside the pocket and everything else. At first, when I heard that they were thinking of doing this, I thought it was just going to be like a practice thing. But you might end up with like the same situation. Remember last year you were watching Red Zone and Scott Hansen was talking about the sky cam that broke and the sky cam's questionable to return. You're now going to get the Tua cam is questionable to return. But I think it's like when the only perspective you ever tend to get in that is if you're playing Madden or something like that. So it'd be pretty cool, I think, to be able to see it from the point of view of what your quarterback's actually seeing. So yeah, let's see what happens.
How long is it going to be until they get accused of cheating because you're using to read the defenses or something like that? How long? It's not going to take long, is it?
I think anything that's going to add another kind of visual interest. You're used to a number of years now. You've got the sky cams that give you like brilliant like perspectives of what's happening in the field, how the team's set up. So yeah, anything like that that's going to make it more entertaining. I'm absolutely all for it, and if it helps protect Tua, because I love watching Tua. He's brilliant. He's when he's on form, he's absolutely brilliant as a quarterback to watch. Really entertaining. So. Yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, he has a much better season as far as protection is concerned, and maybe the jiu-jitsu and the helmet cam is going to help with that. So, yeah, let's see what happens.
I was just looking up.
If the TV companies take advantage of this, I don't know what the rules are going to be with the NFL and doing this, but can you imagine like a running back camera or a lineman camera or something? The TV companies are going to start getting involved with this and kind of offering you different perspectives on the game, which I think would be pretty interesting. Put a camera on Christian McCaffrey and see how he sees the gaps.
Imagine how shaky the camera would be, though. He'd be like, this is what Christian McCaffrey sees, and the screen's just like this.
I think it's something to watch for going forward. If the NFL allow this, then I can see the TV companies asking the question at least. Even quarterback cameras for the TV companies.
Yeah, I mean, when you're watching F1 or like MotoGP or something like that, you see the cameras in the drivers' helmets and you see it on the car. That struck me as well when you said it. I can't imagine that the teams would allow it to be broadcast. I'm not sure that that's something that they would be keen on, but it'd be great if they did.
I'd seen an advert a wee while ago, and it was for Meta, Facebook's new online thing that they're going to be doing. And one of the games that they've got is the NFL Pro Era, and it's where you're basically QB, and with the Oculus things that you've got on the VR headsets, you're seeing what a QB's seeing. So you've got your man at the Cardinals, who's the QB there? Kyler Murray on playing Call of Duty all day. We can see Tua getting absolutely hooked on this, practicing on his bed so he falls safely on that. That'll be quite interesting to see how things like that takes off. I wonder if they'll adopt that into Madden as well going through forward. Smashing. So that was Tua, Cam. You mentioned Mike McDaniel getting involved with the. He's really living it up in Florida in the off season just now. I think there's been 2 games he's been at. I saw the Florida Panthers. Who was it? Panthers game he was at, where he's just holding court there on the drums, getting the crowd buzzing for the match there. Good to see he's enjoying his time off there. How do you think the Finns will do this upcoming season? They seem to have invested defensively very well, try to protect Tua a fair bit. Shame they didn't have a first round pick to help add that, but they seem to have invested some of their money into the team. Dan, how do you think they're going to do this season?
Yeah, I think it just follows on from the previous point there. I think it's all going to depend on how healthy they can keep Tua. that's key to their success this season. To keep him fit, the issue they've now got is they've now got Aaron Rodgers to contend with.
Yeah.
So you've already got Josh Allen, you've got Aaron Rodgers. We don't know what you're going to get for the Patriots. You'll probably get your usual 7 or 8 out of 10 for the Patriots. So they're going to really have to be on their game to get something this season. I think they're going to struggle in their own division. So I don't see much success, unfortunately, from the Dolphins, even if they keep to a fit.
Kev, do you foresee a bit of a challenge for your Eagles from the Finns this season?
No, I agree with everything Dan just said there. I think they've got a really tough division, and I think they'll struggle to get consistency. Tua and how fit he is, how healthy he is going to be a big factor, but I don't know. Gesicki leaving as well. Tyreek's a year older. I think their best chance was last year.
What do you think there, Craig?
Yeah, they only had 4 picks in the draft, so it's not, based on that alone, they're not going to have a massive turnaround in fortune. It's not like a full rebuild as such. And the picks they've got, it's Cam Smith, and I'm just looking at Devin Achane. I'm not sure how you pronounce his second name. So he's going to be like maybe E-Chain. So sounds like A-Train. Could be a decent run, good name for a running back. But yeah, he's going to probably be RB3 at the moment, depending on what else happens between now and the start of the season. But yeah, I think it's going to be a tough division for them. So yeah, struggling to see any significant change from where they were last year. The biggest improvement I think we can hope for is a healthy Tua.
And I think what we'll do is we'll just focus on the AFC East just now, because the Pats have received 2 days. I thought it was 2 days just OTAs, but Dan, you were saying that it's more than that.
Yeah. So they're not just being restricted from on-field activities. It's basically 2 full days they've lost in the facility. So before we came on in, I was just reading up there. So teams are during OTAs, they get 2 hours on the field and 4 hours to do other team activities within the facility. So I don't know whether that's like meetings or video or whatever else they do. Gym sessions, I'm not 100% sure, but rather than the Patriots losing 2 days of on-field practice, they're losing the 2 full days, so they can't even be in the facility for those 2 days either. So they're losing more than just being on the field together. They're losing basically 2 days of pre-season.
No, Bill Belichick is down $50,000 as well. Did anyone see the violation? It says the actual violation. It appears to centre around meetings instead of any on-field infractions. So I wonder if the teams are met up when they're meant to have been on holiday. Because I didn't realise this until just the past year. I've learned this, that the unions have got quite a lot of say in what happens and what doesn't happen with the players and the teams. And I wonder if it's something around that. What do you think, Craig?
Don't know. I was just for those of you watching the video. This was my shocked face. The New England Patriots have violated a rule. I mean, come on. This sounds a bit familiar, does it not? I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really go into much detail about what exactly the violation was, who they were filming undercover, and what they were filming. But I'm only guessing here. They've probably flown a drone or something over to Miami and see how Tua's the helmet cam's getting on or something. That's probably what they're getting done for. But yeah, it's. As a couple of days, Bill's he's a coach that but he pushes the boundaries, and he's a bit of a genius. Let's be honest as well. So I don't think he'll be losing too much sleep over it. But I'm just curious to find out, like you were saying, Keith, what exactly it was that has happened that's resulted in this 2 full days. Like you say, Dan, not just practice, like everything. So whatever it is, the NFL is obviously clamping down hard on it. They're not very impressed. So, I'm sure it will come out in the wash.
Having recently turned 40 myself, I can kind of understand what's happening there with Bill. When you get a wee bit older, you start to stop giving a shit about everything else. You start to just take wee like shortcuts wherever you want. You don't really care what other people say. Usually with older people around here, maybe start saying a few inappropriate things, but start to park wherever you want. Double yellow line, you're only there for 5 minutes, doesn't matter. You can just tell Bill Belichick parks in the disabled base just because it saves him an extra minute. Terrific. Let's head up to New York then. For the first day of their OTAs, everybody was really excited to see Aaron Rodgers and see how he got on. And they limped off with a calf issue after the first day. That's how it's going to go for somebody. It's aging, as we were mentioning there with Bill Belichick, is Aaron Rodgers, Kev. I'm sure he'll be fine. I think that's just a wee tweak. He'll be all right and back in, setting the standard for the rest of the team, won't he?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. I mean, if he's going to get a minor injury, then now's the time to get it. There's plenty of time to get healthy. But then again, maybe his body's just failing. Maybe we'll never see him again. Wouldn't that be fun for the Jets? We'll just have to wait, I suppose.
Would you think someone else that had a minor injury, Dan, was Alan Lazard? You want to talk us through that one?
I mean, I was going to say at least it was the Alan Lazard.
So what happened there?
We'll use WWE terminology. I think he got a one in the solar plexus, as they would say in WWE. Yeah, I've never seen the video, but he took a bit of a sore one in a very sensitive area.
Yeah.
I'll let you quote him. You can quote him, Keith.
I'm just looking for the tweet just now. It was terrific from him. I love the. Is it there? Oh, that's my Daniel one. Can't remember what it was. It was something like everybody's all.
They say nuts.
I'm good, yo. I've got it. I've got it. I'm good, yo. Not sure why they didn't report that I practiced the rest of the day at 100%, but I'm all good. Just get hit in the gonads. Terrific.
Take a cup isn't mandatory in OTAs then?
I guess not.
We'll find out. They might lose a couple of days after that one then. Finishing off, we've got two more bits of news then to cover. It was Pat Mahomes was asked something and gave a fantastic answer. Craig, you want to take this one?
Yeah, it was an interview that Mahomes had earlier in the week. I just really liked his response. You know, in the off season, there's been loads of talk about QBs and what a quarterback should be paid, contract negotiations. We've seen all the kind of Lamar Jackson stuff with the Ravens. How much is he going to get paid? Same with the Eagles. Like, what they're going to do with Hurts? How much money is he going to get paid? And basically, it was a little bit. I think they were trying to trip him up a little bit. You know, basically saying, "Well, hang on a minute, you're not getting paid as much as these guys. What's your thoughts on it?" And I really liked the way he kind of handled the question, because at the time that Mahomes, you know, got his contract and the structuring of his contract, it's the same. If you went back a few seasons before that, like as a Vikes fan, when Kirk Cousins got his guaranteed money, and you know everyone's kind of jaws were dropping at the time, going, "Geez, he's getting paid an absolute ton of money." And it was, in terms of like percentage of how much cap space it took up, it was a huge amount. But Mahomes' response about, listen, he's recognizing that he needs a team around him to be successful. He's more interested, and he said that himself, he is more interested in his legacy. He's more interested in getting Super Bowl rings. That's his priorities. Is I've got enough money. I am set up for life. I don't need to basically completely fascinate myself with how much am I being paid in comparison to my peers. And I think a lot of players in the NFL, a lot of like wide receivers, quarterbacks, there is this constant comparison. Well, hang on a minute, he's getting paid this. How come I'm not getting paid this? But these guys are getting paid, life-changing sums of money on a weekly basis for us mere mortals. So I just thought that Mahomes' response was pretty refreshing, and he recognises that for that team to be successful, he's going to have to make sure that there's money available to do that, to pay these guys. So yeah, he seems like he's got a pretty sensible head on his shoulders, unlike his brother. So good on him.
That might be why he needs the big payday. He's going to have to bail out his brother all the time.
It's easy for Mahomes to say something like that when he is one of the highest paid players in the league, to be fair. I'm sure if he was one of the lowest paid players,
he's not a pittance, is he? Let's be honest. He's on a decent amount of money.
Brings us on to the last wee bit of news that we've got here, as the Commanders have been knocked back for their patent of the use of the word Commanders for their name. They may have to change their name yet again. So what do we think about this? Have you get any ideas or suggestions that the Commanders could be going for this time? I don't think they can go back to, what was it, the Washington football team was the last incarnation. I don't think they're going back any further than that. But Washington Commanders, were you on board with that in the first place? Would you be sad to see that go? Was that a slow burner there, Kev? Could you have got behind it eventually?
I suppose you would just get used to it after a while. It was fun. It's been fun to kind of see them struggle to come up with a new identity since they were forced to lose the Redskins. I think over time you would have just got used to it, and to be fair, I think there was potential in Commanders. There was quite a bit that they could play around with, the kind of military side of things. But surely, do they really need to patent the word? Can they not just stick with that? Why do you patent the name? Do you know? To get any ideas?
Well, the reason they couldn't do it is because there was two reasons given why the application was denied. Well, there's the Commanders Classic, which is the annual football game between the Army and the Air Force. And the second reason was previous trademarks for the Washington Space Commanders and the Washington Wolf Commanders were made by a man named Martin McCauley, who lives in DC. So he must be due a massive payout if they were to start going with the Commanders there. Maybe they're just not looking to settle with them. But you've also got the Army and the Air Force football game as well. Which
why do they need to patent? Does it mean they can't sell merchandise with Commanders on it? Unless
they need to own the name to sell any sort of merch. It needs to be there. Because for example, they were to release a T-shirt. Somebody else could release the exact same T-shirt and charge half the price because they don't have the patent on the name.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they would have to buy out the rights from Macaulay or reach an agreement with him that they could actually use the term Commanders, which would make him a very wealthy man.
Yeah, I wonder how
Doesn't that happen? I mean, I've got a Philadelphia Eagles hat that I got out at a gas station in Fort Myers. Philadelphia Eagles, it says on it. I'm pretty sure it's not legit. I'm pretty sure it's not official merch.
You mean they sell non-legit NFL merchandise, Kev?
No, but my mate bought me it. I didn't even buy it myself. My mate went in to pay for it. My hat said, "Yeah, there you go."
What's this DH gate you speak of? I'm not familiar with these kinds of places.
I think how many teams do you think this guy has registered? Obviously, when the Redskins were losing their name, do you think he just went on and patented every name he could think of, thinking Washington's going to pick one of them?
It's going to be one of these ones, surely, that I'm going to make some money off. Because it was all the other stuff they did, like at the start of the season, it was like, on the Twitter, it was like, it's time to hashtag take command. And it was like, what exactly are we going to take command of? We're going to take command of the bottom of the NFC East. That's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to have a successful season, finishing absolutely rock bottom of our division. I think they should go for, instead of Washington football team, they should just change it around. Say it's Washington team football, and then they can just have WTF on the front of their t-shirts and stuff, which I think would be utterly hilarious. Just have that and all their stuff. Just WTF. which pretty much sums up the Commanders at this point in time, let's be honest.
I was reading a wee bit earlier on, and somebody made a suggestion, like their options are buying this guy out or rebranding is basically their two options they've got here. And I read that a bit, it said maybe they should rebrand, because obviously new owners and all that, let's just rebrand, clean slate, start new, and take it from there, which probably isn't a bad idea. It'll also cost them a bit of money, but is it going to cost them more than it would to buy this guy out? I mean, one of the names I liked when they were originally looking at it, I think it was the Red Hogs, which was to do with Air Force Squadron that was based in Washington or something like that. And I've seen a few mock-ups of the shirts and the logos, and I thought that looked cracking. It looked like proper marketable logo and name and all that, but for some reason they went for Commander with a W.
I don't know. I think they're needing to lean into the DC a wee bit and go for like the Batman colours and the Superman colours and have just loads of change of uniforms.
Yeah,
the running backs could wear red with wee flashes of yellow because they're so super.
Maybe they wanted something like 4 brands in 4 years. Maybe they're just going to be like the Washington Chameleons and just change every season.
I like it, Kev. I like it.
That's good. Like that. Fantastic. And that's I'll bring us to the end of our news roundup for the week there. Dan, you have a top 10 countdown.
Yes.
That you'd like to share with us. We don't know anything about this.
No, I don't know the guys because you're going to try and guess the answers, so I've not given them any advance notice of what this is about, right?
Oh man, we're going to show ourselves up here.
Right. I'll give you a few couple of points at the point before we start. So this is based on why I picked Roger Staubach to be the person to invest in my football team, and when we run through the list, you'll see why. So the list is the top 10 either current or ex-NFL players who have the highest net worth. All right.
Oh, okay.
It's not just basically career earnings, actual net worth.
Right. Okay.
It means the money they actually are worth now. So Patrick Mahomes
built an empire.
Yes. So Patrick Mahomes' $450 million contract isn't in this list because he's not worth $450 million. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay.
So we got to try and work your way through it. There is. I'll give you make it a wee bit easier. There's 2 current players on the list that are still active. And if you can get 3 of the ones on it, I'll be absolutely astounded. So
I'll go for Russell Wilson then to start with.
Number 10, $165 million.
Okay.
Right,
it's got to be made up of basically quarterbacks. Let's be honest. It's got to be like your kind of like a lot of your golden era quarterbacks have now gone on to like TV work and stuff like that. So it's got to be like one of the. Like Manning, surely, somebody like that.
Which one?
Peyton.
Yes, number 5, $250 million.
Okay.
Terry Bradshaw.
Bradshaw, no.
No.
I was just thinking the opposite of what Roger was saying, and purely because there's like in tennis. The richest tennis player in the world is not very good at tennis, but they've made absolute fortunes through other ventures. So I'm thinking that it could just be totally random NFL players.
Who's your pick then, Kev?
Michael Vick.
No.
I didn't think so.
I don't think you must invest in dogfighting.
I don't think dogfighting pays that well.
So, is Tom Brady on there?
Yep, number
Brady's
4.
got to be in there, yeah.
Also $250 million. I don't know how they separated him and Manning, but he's 4.
I'm thinking the Ace Ventura movie, so Dan Marino's got to be in there.
Nope, not in the top 10.
Ooh, no.
Who else has built, like I say, like built an empire around, like, I think who else? Tony Romo, what about him? CBS?
Nope and nope.
No,
OG. OG's lost it all, actually.
Nah.
Hightower.
What about deceased folk? Does deceased folk count?
Well, one of them is definitely deceased. The other one, I'm not 100% sure because I don't know.
Madden.
Madden.
Yes, Madden. Yep. Number 6, 200 million.
Right. Okay.
Right. Surely the guy that you want to, what's his name? Staubach.
Yes, he's on the list. Which he is number 2, right? And this is going to astound you. He is worth $600 million.
Wow. How has he made his money?
A real estate company that sold in 2008 for $613 million.
Okay.
What's he blew that 13 million on?
Who
right.
else?
So the
Probably
ones that
some
we're
other
still to get,
quarterbacks we're
give us a
missing.
wee clue of what
So
they've
you've
made money in.
still got a current player to get, which is probably
Current.
fairly obvious. You mentioned the surname of one of them already.
Manning, then.
Yep.
Right.
Eli's number 9, $170 million.
Okay.
So you get 8, 7, 3, and 1 to get. If you get 3 and 1, I'll be astounded, I'll be honest with you.
Right. So 8 and 7 is looking more likely.
Yeah.
So if you can give us a clue, just so they'll get loads of M's and A's for the next half hour.
Number 8,
give us a clue what they've made them. Pardon?
Number 8, we've spoke about a good bit tonight about a certain injury he has.
Alan Lazard?
No. Aaron Rodgers, yes. Kev.
Oh, Rodgers. Okay.
200 million, number 8. Number
Okay.
7 is an ex-player, 90s, very successful, played on the West Coast for a team in red and gold. No?
No, tell us.
Steve Young,
Okay.
200 million. I'll just give you the last two because you'll not get them.
Yeah, go for it.
Number 3 is a guy called Frank Tarkenton. Never heard of him.
Aye.
300 million.
Tarkenton, former Viking.
Is he? Oh, there you go.
Aye.
Number 3, worth 300 million because he had a software company that is also some sort of antivirus company. He's a major shareholder in Apple as well. And the stat about him that astounded me so he's worth 300 million now. As a player, his career earnings were $1 million.
Well, there you go.
And the last one is a bit of a
awesome.
Number 1 is a bit of a swear about it because he's an ex-player and he played for the Baltimore Colts in 1959, which isn't where he made his money, obviously. He is the ex-owner of the Carolina Panthers, Jerry Richardson, who's worth $2 billion.
$2 billion?
$2 billion.
So he bought
sold the Panthers for $2.3 billion in 2018.
That was good. We did not bad, actually.
Maybe I think that could be a new feature plan. Look forward to you providing them with us every week.
Kind of top 10. That was good.
You could do that.
They're like Hugh Keevins on Bide One Super
Oh, yeah, enough. That's plenty.
Let's just before we finish up, then let's see if we've got a statistic off the week. Anyone got a statistic they would like to share with us?
I'll do my statistic that I brought earlier on, and then we can talk about the tedious link that we've mentioned as well.
Go for it.
So, my stat of the week, which sounds astounding on the surface, but then we'll explain it. So, my stat is that the New York Jets have never beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in an NFL game. Ever.
Oof.
So,
can you believe that, Kev?
Until this
I believe it. I believe it. I mean, I was just thinking that. I never remember us losing to them, so...
So, Kev, can you tell me, since 1973, Kev, how many times do you think you've played them?
If you hadn't told me earlier, I would have guessed more. To be fair.
So they've only played each other since 1973 12 times, and the Eagles have won all 12 meetings. So...
Yeah, go Birds.
Fantastic. Guys, that's wonderful. I think that'll do for this evening's show. As I said earlier on,
link, Keith. I've got a tedious link.
Hold on.
Hold the bus.
But before we finish up, back to you, Craig.
No, this was a tedious link. So you remember, like ages ago, in the week leading up to the Pro Bowl, we did a pod, and Stu and I were in particular hyping up the Pro Bowl and how it should be more like Gladiators. Well, I've got a Gladiators really tedious link. So I saw on Instagram today they're announcing, so Gladiators is coming back. First of all, awesome news. It's going to be on BBC later on this year. But one of the Gladiators is a former NFL player. Practice squad player. Okay, fringe player, but still, there's the tedious link there. So yeah, Alex Gray, he is former practice squad tight end for the Atlanta Falcons. He was a British NFL player as well and rugby internationalist, and he's going to be a Gladiator. So there you go. It's going to be Apollo, and I found that out today, and I was like, that's a good link. I'm going to drop that in there.
As long as John Anderson's back in his black and white striped uniform, I'm happy with that.
I sincerely hope so.
I met Wolf up at the Kingsgate in East Kilbride when they first opened the Kingsgate Shopping Centre. They had Wolf and Phoenix up on the stage to thing me, and I took a Wolf mask with me, and they shushed me up to the side, so I went up and I gave him a fright, and the guy was absolutely terrific. He turned around, kidded on that, I gave him a big massive fright, and wonderful. But Wolf was good. Here's another one for you. I never thought I'd have to share this story. Trojan came to Blantyre Sports Centre just for a night. I think they had there wasn't anything on or anything. He was just turned up.
He heard that Ricky was getting his tablet and he was going to get some.
Yes, world famous as always. Gentlemen, I think that will do us. A terrific hour content there for us, right bang on the hour for us. Thoroughly enjoyed talking football with you guys. It's we'll make sure it's not so long next time. We'll be back again next week to talk more NFL with you. Kev, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot, Keith. It's been a pleasure as always.
Dan, great to have you part as a regular member of the crew, mate.
I'm glad to be part and on holiday for the next couple of weeks, guys, but I'll be back. I'll fire a brand new top 10 in a couple of weeks' time.
I don't think I've received that paperwork. We'll discuss this off-air. And Craig, fantastic to hear from you again, buddy.
Pleasure, Keith. Cheers, boys. Good to talk to you.
So, as always, the crew will be back at again next week. As I said earlier on in the episode, we have the WhatsApp community now up and running. Anytime there's any wee bits of news, you can share it in there, discuss things like that with your like-minded football fans, especially from Scotland and the UK. We're going to grow that over the summer. If you know anyone that you think would be interested in it, please share the link with them. We're delighted to get as many people talking about football as it's just getting massive here in the UK. So really enjoyed discussing it with new people, and we hope to hear from more of you in the next coming weeks as well. You can like and subscribe on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, YouTube. Give us a wee like, a wee rating there. We'd love to hear from you. And we will be back next week. It's a long time between now and September, is it?
Yeah.
But the crew will see you through, and we'll speak to you again next week. Thanks very much.